Okay, everyone, on the first day, or maybe the second day of class, I gave you a pretest that said, welcome to pre-calculus. On one of the pages, you saw all of these problems, and I asked you if you could come up with a way to either simplify or just rewrite somehow each one of them. And, you know, some people gave them a shot and didn't get any right. Some people got a couple right. I think one person got almost every single one of them right. But most people struggled with it. Most people. So I just wanted to go through these because this is, you know, this is kind of a look back at stuff you did a long time ago, probably. But I think it would probably be a good idea to just look at it for a minute and see some of the things you can do with it. So this one right here, notice we have two terms, and each term has a as a factor. So one thing we can do here is use the distributive property to factor a out of each term, out of this term and this term. So that's one way to rewrite that, and that's all I'm going to do with it. But I just want you to notice, if we were to redistribute the a back to these two terms, we wind up with exactly what we started with. Okay. So that's my rewrite of the first one. Okay, now for this one, if I'm going to rewrite it, it looks like I'm going to have to add these, which means I'm going to have to get a common denominator. And I saw like maybe a couple people do this. So you're going to have to take your first fraction, multiply top and bottom by d, so that my denominator will be bd. And I'll take my second fraction, multiply top and bottom by b, so that I get the same denominator. So then I have a times d over b times d, plus c times b over the same thing, b times d. This is commutative, so I can call this cb or bc, and I can call that bb or bb, but the denominator is the same. That's all I care about. So I'm going to write all of that as one fraction now. Okay, now, and I just want to emphasize, I would not necessarily consider this like a simplified version of this. I don't think this is any simpler. It's just a different way of writing it, and you need to be able to go back and forth in between these two things. Okay, so another way to write this, well, the only thing I can really pick up here is to break it into two fractions. So if I have a plus b over c, that's the same as a over c plus b over c. I can make two fractions out of it. Here I'm dividing by a fraction. So dividing by c over d is going to be the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of that. So I'll write that like that. Okay. Moving on here. Dividing by c, I've got a fraction here, so here's what I'll do. I'll say that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of c, and then of course, as usual, top times top, bottom times bottom. So I have a over bc is the other way to write that. Same thing here, times the reciprocal, but this time I can say that's a over 1. Okay? And then here, same thing, a over 1 times that, ab over c. And finally here, now be careful not to do that, because we have more than one term here. But the good news is we have the a factor in both of those terms. Okay? So we can say, just like we did over here, rewrite this as this. So it's going to be a times b plus c over a. And now, because a is shown to be a factor of the entire numerator, we can safely reduce like that. And so this is all we have left. Okay, so here, let me just split this up so you can kind of see a little easier. Yeah. Okay, so there it is.